ASCDI. I want to thank you for joining us today on this webinar. We really have, fresh from Dublin, we have Martin from Reduce, and Martin was probably one of the most popular guys at the European broker meeting. And it's really because, it's funny, you talk about data, and data these days is really the gold. That's what everybody's mining for. And we're going to talk a little bit today about proof of sustainability, if you will. But the regulators are want us to deliver it in Europe. Wall Street wants us to deliver it. The enterprises need it, but us ITADs have it. So we have that data. And so we're going to talk a little bit about today about what you do with the data, how we have it, how you get it, and maybe a little bit about how to monetize it. So with that, Martin, let me turn it over to you, and thank you for joining us this morning and this afternoon.
Thank you very much, Joe, and hi everybody. Nice to meet you all here. I'm Martin from Reduce, and I'd like to tell a bit about, as Joe said, how you can get data on refurbishment, because the good news here is that this industry is really growing in its services to the customers, and now it's possible also to document the exact avoided emissions from carbon from refurbishment, and that is quite important for the end customers for several reasons, to be able to document their avoided emissions when they send products to refurbishment, and those who are purchasing refurbished products, that we can all the way down to product level document the avoided emissions. A little quick background story about Reduce. 13 years ago, we used to be a consultancy who did IT energy saving projects for large enterprises, about 600 customers back at that time. And we decided at that point that we wanted a database that had actually all the IT hardware products on the market. And then we would add carbon emission data on to those each and every product, and also the energy consumption data. Quite a task to take on, but we have actually succeeded quite well. So today we are no longer a consultancy, we are more a data software company providing IT carbon data on IT products. So what we do today is that we are collecting data, we are refining it, and then we automate the delivery of it. Collecting means that we have contacts to more than 30,000 hardware brands, where we download and retrieve data in many different ways from them. We have today more than 15 million products in the database, covering more than 800 product categories. So this is everything from small accessories, an iPhone cover or a USB stick, over smartphones, notebooks, desktops, printers, monitors, and all the way up to large data center solutions and storage solutions. Everything that has a part number, basically. So more than 800 product categories, all in the IT hardware segment. And what we do once we get the data is that we first make it comparable. Many of the vendors do not like to be compared. For example, Lenovo and Dell, they have different lifetimes of their products, so we make sure that you can compare apples to apples, so to speak, in our database. And we then add the carbon emission data and the energy consumption data we have from the vendors. And we follow the greenhouse gas protocol, because that is the global framework, or the global kind of law. The way to calculate carbon emissions come from the data methods in the greenhouse gas protocol, and that's the one we follow. We don't have our own calculation methods. We want to be compliant, of course, and very transparent about how everything is calculated. And then we can make the data even country specific and customer specific as well. And then we have our APIs that can deliver the data the way our customer wants to. And the customers are resellers and distributors and ITADs. So we deliver data to the supply chain in the IT industry. We don't go to the end customers, but we make sure that the industry can provide the data to the end customers. So if you are an ITAD, you can receive data from us, and you can provide your customers with reports for their reporting needs. And we can do that by sending the data to let's say you have your own developed platform for that. You can have it there. You can have it in your BI platform or whatever kind of system, your web shop even. I'll come back to that. And here eHub is mentioned. That is Reduce's platform. So most of our customers get the data into a platform from us, and then from there they can distribute the data and make reports that they can provide their customers. I will come back to that as well. Any questions right now, or shall we save them for the end?
Yeah, I just, not a question, but I just wanted to point something out. And by the way, if anybody has questions, feel free to click on the raise your hand icon and turn on your camera. And Martin's been kind enough to say we can interrupt him throughout his presentation.
Yeah, it's fine.
But Martin, I just want to make one point to the ITADs on the call here. When you talk to the manufacturers, a lot of times they talk about their new server or their new laptop, and it saves so much CO2 because it's newer and it's produced more sustainable. But us ITADs, we sell used things, used items, and so use the word at the beginning of this presentation called carbon avoidance, and I think that's key to ITADs. And
exactly.
If you could just drill down a little bit about what you mean by carbon avoidance, please.
I think that's the next slide, actually.
Oh, okay.
So, but very good point. Yeah, avoided emissions. So the data that we collect and that we provide is split up into these life cycle stages. So this is the total life cycle of a product. Let's say a laptop, for example. It's being manufactured. It's being shipped from the factory to the use country. It's being used for 4 years, for example. Hopefully it will get refurbished, and it has an end of life. So we get data for each of these states of a product's where it is in its lifetime. And here it comes, Joe. So the definitions of what is a footprint of a new product, that will be the manufacturing, shipping, the use phase, and end of life together. And once it's being refurbished, the footprint of a refurbished product is not the manufacturing and shipping, of course, but only the use phase, refurbishment impact, and end of life, because at the end of time it will not be able to be refurbished again. I will come back to refurbishment impact. And here we are, the avoided emission. What is it that we avoid, that we save the planet for when we refurbish and someone buys a refurbished product versus a new product? That's the manufacturing, the mining, and so on, and the shipping from the factory, and then it has a small refurbishment impact, the CO2 emission of the whole refurbishment process, that will be adjusted with that. But manufacturing, when we talk about phones or laptops, data carriers in general, we talk about 80 to 85% of their carbon emission is from the manufacturing. So just that we are avoiding that part is amazing. I mean, avoided emissions is really high numbers. I will show you in a moment. The refurbishment impact, that's the CO2 emission of the process of refurbishing. And I know refurbishing can be many things. Some are repairing, some are not, and so on. But we can adjust for that. So in general, refurbishment impact covers the transportation of the products to the ITAD, the cleaning, the data wiping, the repairs, the repackaging, and the transportation to the new owner. And that can be calculated in, we have two ways to do this. The standard way is to use again, the greenhouse gas protocol has a data method for refurbishment impact, depending on what category of product it is, if it's a phone or a laptop or a keyboard or whatever. And that is based on an average assumption on how many kilometers it has been transported and the repairs and so on. But we can also provide a customized refurbishment impact for each ITAD. So say how many kilometers in average are you transporting the products you receive? Are you using electrical cars to pick up, and what's the average repairs over a year? And then we make a calculation. There are, I think, 50 questions about how things are retrieved and packaged and so on, and make a customized refurbishment impact. It's a small number, this, but it's still, when we can make it even more accurate, we will do it, as long as we stick to the regulations that are for these things. So again, the avoided emission is key factor for the end users, because a customer, let's say a bank that delivers 300 laptops for refurbishment, they can afterwards say that we have avoided X ton of emissions because we have been refurbishing our hardware, old hardware, and that can give the end customer a greener profile, some better image, and actually become more worth. More investors would like to address the companies that has a green profile and a sustainable mindset, and that's what we can now prove. We can document it down to each product that has been sent to refurbishment, and that's quite a service to provide to the end customers. And the refurbishment impact is also something they need, because many of them are regulated. In Europe, we have called CSRD, this Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive. There are 12,000 companies at the moment obliged to report on all their emissions from all their activities, including what they purchase and what they do with their hardware. And refurbishment impact is one of those figures that shall be in their reporting every year. And CSRD is becoming the standard reporting directive for companies in Europe. I know Australia, New Zealand is going to adapt those rule sets as well. From 2027, there will be 49,000 companies obliged. It will be smaller and smaller companies that will be obliged to report, down to all companies except for one-person companies will be obliged within, let's say, I think 5 years. It can move a little, the speed of how quick they roll this out. So this is important for the end customers, and it's the service you can provide. And yeah, I just have an example of some data here just to make some numbers so you can see it. A ThinkPad X13 here has originally, for its first lifetime, it has a footprint of almost 312 kilos of CO2 equivalents, and an iPhone 16, 53 kilos. But already, when it has been refurbished and its second lifetime, it's almost only 10% here. It's amazing how much has been avoided, which we see here. That's the difference of the two, of course, and that we avoid 276 kilos of CO2 from one laptop. I think it's crazy numbers. 43.5 kilo for a phone. And imagine how much the large enterprises are actually sending to refurbishment every year. It's big numbers. We used to be not happy with high carbon footprints, but when it's about avoided emissions, we like the high numbers. That's what we save Mother Earth for. So yeah, just some figures here. But let's dive into how you retrieve this data and how you can actually make some some business out of this as well. And we have 3 solutions that I will highlight. We have more, but these 3 are really for ITADs. We have Reduce for circularity, so carbon data on refurbishment, and we have the data that we provide to web shops, and we have Reduce for accountancy, so for products that are being sold, where you can deliver the footprint of what you are selling. So here you deliver data on what you receive from your customers to refurbish. Here's for your web shop, and here's for when you are selling refurbished products. You can deliver data to your customers who are buying. So for the first one, the main thing here is this report that you can make for them, and it's don't worry, it is actually quite simple once you get to know it. It can be a little overwhelming maybe in the beginning, but it is not. We have automated this, so we have made everything ready, so you shall just gather the data and then you can click a button and make this report. And the important thing from this one is the middle page here. It's the management summary. So let's say you receive a batch of products from your customer. You refurbish some of those products. Some of them goes to recycling and some will be e-waste. Then you can report back to your customer. These are the avoided emissions from this batch you sent to us, 82 tons in this case. That's a big batch. It could also be a monthly report or quarterly or yearly report to your customer saying this year you have avoided, let's say in this case, 82 tons of CO2. And we have some equivalences here. How many kilometers driven by car is that equal to? How many hours of video streaming is that equal to? It makes it more realistic or understandable how much we're actually saving here. And this is the report that your customer can use for documenting their avoided emission. They will never be charged for any greenwashing here because they can document it down to each product that is included in the report. And it's totally audible, and let's say there will be an audit. Well, there will be, and if that audit will ask for how did you get to these numbers, your customer can provide the Reduce's white papers that describes everything. And if they still need to answer questions, then you send the authorities to us, because Reduce is, of course, the responsible for that the data is correct, that it has been calculated the way it should. So Reduce has all the way through, both for our customers and our customers, the responsibility for this. And we are happy to take the talks with the authorities if they want to know how everything has been calculated. So how do you actually get the data? It's quite simple. We can start really simple here, that we provide you as an ITAD a login to our portal, and then you can make a product file. Let's say a file, an Excel, a CSV file with the products from a batch or just a few products to try it out, and upload it to our platform. We will help you. We will show you and hold your hand. And the first times you upload your product file to our platform, and then from there you can generate this report that I was just showing. And that report you can offer your customer and say, okay, I received this batch from you. Is this report relevant for you to use for your ESG reporting, or to your CSRD reporting, or to just for on your website tell how much you are avoiding every month, for example. And that you could actually charge for this service. Now it's a product file. It's a more manual process, but once you are more safe with this, you can make it via an API. So you connect to our database, you collect data in our portal, you go to the portal and create a report. You just select which customer, which batch, for example, would I like a report for, or which month, which period of time would I like a report for this customer, and then you generate it. And yeah, it's actually as simple as that. there's an extra way you can also do this data collection, and that is because we have a collaboration with or partnership with Blanco, and soon also several of the other data erasure companies out there, so that you can you can collect data while you are data erasing actually. So with Blanco, we have already an API connected to them, and if you know Blanco, you will know they have something called workflows, and if you connect via that, it takes half an hour, then you are up and running to collect data every time you do a data erasure of a data carrier and a diagnostics of it. Then it will collect data the same way into the portal that you have access to, and you can make reports on that. You will also get data into the Blanco portal, management portal, so you will have the avoided emissions and the refurbishment impact on the data erasure report. That's also nice to have. With this solution, then you, of course, only collect for the data carriers, so it will require an extra API directly to Reduce, like before, where you can get data for the non-data carriers, the monitors, keyboards, so on, and also for the e-waste and recycling stuff. So you can provide a report with everything that was in that batch, no matter if it was refurbished, recycled, or ended as e-waste. So data on the data erasure report in this case, and also the usual refurbishment carbon benefits report. And that's actually it. The second one I showed you was data for your web shop. So in this case, you can, if you are selling new products, you can show the carbon footprint. If you are selling also refurbished products, you can add the avoided emissions. And this is the ThinkPad we just saw. So you can add actually for the buyers how much emission do they avoid by buying this this laptop instead of a similar new one. And then we have the third thing. Again, we have in Europe something called CSRD, EU taxonomy. I already went into that, where all companies at some point will have to report on their emissions, meaning also what they sell and what they purchase. And we have the similar solution here. You can do with a file upload or an API connect to Reduce and our portal, and you can, for every time you do and send an invoice, you can provide them with an e-voice showing what is on your invoice. Here is the carbon footprint of that. And you can also, at the end of end of the year, send them a corporate sustainability report, with data that they need for their reporting to CSRD and the EU. So this is a service that you can easily charge for as well. Let's say some amount per year, because their alternative to this, if they are obliged to report to CSRD, is to get the report from Ernst & Young or KPMG or some of these guys, and that's expensive. And the data they get is crap because it's on a spend-based data method. It's not as accurate as this one. So they will be happy to pay a smaller fee to you guys for providing this, and you can easily cover the cost for Reduce that way. We have, I think, 50-50 of our customers who are using Reduce for accounting. They're charging customers for this service. But it could also be a service that is included in your normal service, and you will benefit from that and probably get more customers that way around. And yeah, here's how that report looks like. It's really for the sustainability people at your customers. So these three solutions are available for you today, and it's up to you if you would like to use them. They are in use today. There are ITADs selling and providing these reports. Mostly actually are providing them for free, but there will be some who are also going to charge for it. So pricing, the important one. We give free trials for these reportings, and there is a base fee of all three of these. So you can start with a free trial, try it out. We do some file uploads and make some reports. You can show customers. Once you think this could be cool, you can. The smallest package is for 2,000 euros. You get data for 4,000 products. And then if you need more, then there's a volume discount grid that goes down to 12 euro cents per asset. So, and that is the cost. There are no subscription fees or startup fees or anything. It's really just the products, number of products you need data for that we charge for. And for the web shop, it's the same. It's per product. So the base package contains 15,000 products for your web shop and goes down to 2 euro cents per product. And data for what you are selling to your customers is based on your number of invoices. So the invoices that contains hardware that you need data for, 2,000 euro for 1,000 invoices. No matter how many products are on the invoice, it could be one product or 400. That's one price per invoice, starting from 2 euros and goes quickly down to something even more affordable. I think Joe and Billy will share the slides afterwards, if I understand it right, so you can get it. So yeah, how to begin? You can contact me. We can set up a free trial, try it out, and learn our platform, how it works, and create some reports to your customers. And then you can consider a base package and maybe even go into an API integration and scaling up the usage and your service. And that's actually it. Some customers we are happy to share with you here. So there must be some questions. I see a hand there. For Neil?
Neil.
Yeah, hi,
please go
Martin.
ahead.
Martin, no, we haven't met. I don't think. I'm Neil Vill from World Data Products. Excellent presentation. I think your product and your service is filling a need. I have a few questions, if you don't mind. One is, where do you get your data? Is it coming directly from the manufacturers, or are you coming up with estimates for various products?
It comes from the manufacturers mainly. The manufacturing and the shipment from the factory, that's from the manufacturers. And then from the energy consumption that we know from the technical specs of the product, we can make the use phase calculation. And again, the refurbishment impact is either from the greenhouse gas protocol. We can use that data to calculate, or we make a customized one there. So, but basically we get the data from the manufacturers, and it has to do with also the when we know the technical specifications of a product, we have different levels of data actually. So when we know a specific product, then we know the technical specs, and then we can make a precise calculation. If we only know it's a laptop ThinkPad, for example, but we don't know exactly which model, then we provide category average, product category average data.
Because our concern, we deal mostly in data center equipment. We do some, laptops and things, but it's overwhelmingly, servers from Dell, HP, IBM, and those form factors can go anywhere from like a one, Intel CPU up to an 8 NVIDIA GPU, and the wide variation in footprint, it's enormous.
Yeah.
And, the manufacturers won't cooperate with us. And so I guess when Cisco, Juniper, Arista, also notoriously uncooperative to the independent, third-party marketplace.
Yeah.
So, when we've been trying to generate reports, and, the Environmental Protection Agency in the US has a calculator, but it basically anything that's got like one estimate for a server. And that's what we have to use for routers, switches, servers, and it's totally useless.
Yeah.
And then so I'm concerned about accuracy. And then also there's potential liability down the road as, companies are compelled to disclose these data. And if they're relying on us to supply the data, for example, in the state of California in the US, starting in 2027, any company over $1 billion in revenue has to disclose carbon footprint data. And they're asking us, how we can help them in terms of footprint avoidance through their use of refurbished equipment, which is awesome. But then if we provide them data that is not correct, we are potentially liable. And the Securities Exchange Commission, the stock market, they're going to start compelling these disclosures too. And if we're supplying data that's not correct, we're on the hook. And, they get sued, we get sued, you get sued. So how do we make sure the data is accurate across all the great, the breadth of products that we all deal in? And then, that's basically, how do we avoid the liability by, providing accurate data?
Yeah, having a third-party provider is a good thing, because then you are not responsible for the data. We provide also for data center equipment, and they are, customized every time. So we have data for all the spare parts and for all the smaller parts, a loose hard drive or whatever it is, a RAM block, or we have these. So when we know the configuration of a server, we can give product-specific data on that, and that's again back to the calculation methods from GHG that gives that data.
So, for example, if we could give you a model of a Dell server with 8 NVIDIA GPUs, could you then research that product and come up with a bill of materials and make that carbon footprint estimate from that?
Yes, we can. If we have the we would need the MPNs. If that is available, that's the best way. The MPNs is the manufacturer part number. If you have those, then we can give very accurate data on that one. Yes.
Yeah. Good. Thank you.
Neil, go ahead. Neil Rogers.
Hi there. Thanks, Martin. That was great. Neil Rogers, Restyle Systems. Good to hear Data's name, actually. So previous network hardware reselling curvature, so know Data for a long period of time. So a couple of questions. On the first slide, you mentioned country specific and customer specific. So I was just intrigued as to what that meant. And then secondly, outside of kind of the ITAD and as a third-party maintenance service, then could you use some of your tools and reports for any carbon avoidance for extending the life of the devices via third-party maintenance?
The first one, the country-specific data is because it's for the use phase of these LCA stages that I showed. So a server running in Poland or in Norway has a different footprint because of the energy provided, the CO2 emission of every kilowatt hour. So we need to know the country code for, or the state code for where is the equipment being used, so we can make that it's the scope 2 emission on the usage based on where it's being used. And that's what we mean with country specific, country and state specific. And what was the second one?
It was customer specific as well.
Customer specific. It's possible for the customer to get access actually to the platform as well, to see their own transactions, and there they can set a lifetime for each product category. So if they are using their notebooks for 5 years instead of the normal 4 years, they can adjust this, and then the calculations will that will be affected, shown in the calculations. So that's the customer specific.
Perfect. Yeah, makes perfect sense. Thank you.
Yeah.
Great. Anybody else questions?
Can I ask, Martin, you mentioned the country specific one. It's just, I mean, at what point would you have to work with average values when you do these calculations? Because even within a country, within Norway or Poland, you can have very green data centers, and you can have very black or coal-fired and oil-fired plants for energy. So, do you use? I mean, do you? At some point, you'll have to use an average, I suppose, of some pre-existing data on that area? Or
there will be averages here and there, and that's how, I mean, we are constantly optimizing, but there will always be assumptions and averages like there is in when you make what's the value of our warehouse or currencies and so on.
How many miles per gallon does a car get? You know,
Yeah,
I guess.
But it's a constant optimization. But there is some possibilities for adjusting on the customer level, as I mentioned, and that could also be something we would take into consideration with these data centers that are more green than others, even in the same country. So it could be adjusted in the on customer level, actually. But in general, I like to just share one slide here that we used to say when we go into the quality of the data and how accurate it could be. More than 90% of all carbon accounting today is based on spent-based data method, meaning that the carbon footprint of a product is based on the price of it, which is ridiculous, but that's where we are today. And that's even the big accounting firms as well. They use spent-based data method. I spoke with Kyndryl. They are also using spent, and it's just it's not accurate. Let's say it like that. So going from spent-based to at least product category average method is a huge increase, and then we can always go up and say this product specific, first of all, is more accurate, and we can always improve it. We can always find more specific data rather than averages and make it even more exact. But just closing this gap is a big gap to close, first of all. And actually, spent-based is also a part of GHG. It's compliant, believe it or not. But we have to start somewhere. It's like they have said, okay, let's use the price. So from cost to carbon, but we are not going that way. We do it product specific, or at least product category average level.
We have that category average. We developed our own thing together with Kobe, company.
Yeah, there are actually some that can.
5 years ago. The problem is we don't have every category. So just like you said, monitors, or I think mouse, keyboards, cables, rack kits. You know, sometimes we have a palette of that stuff, and we don't have any because we haven't monitored or any data on that. And in this case, of course, the product specific method is obviously the best.
Yeah.
Because it just leaves a big zero on some of the other products.
Yeah.
Fortunately, but anyway, that's
maybe we can help you with this category average, so you have all of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
We've done it. We've been using it for 5 years, so maybe it's time
to
move in another direction, and probably also a lot of the other ASCDI members here will need to get on the bandwagon now.
Yeah.
Great. Anybody else? Last chance. Well, Martin, thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, I mean, you see the impact that, ITADs are having around the world. It's really impressive. Europe's probably leading the planet, but we have, as Neil mentioned, California and New York are also adopting very similar kind of requirements. Some of the countries in in the EU are mandating, 30-40% used equipment purchased at data centers, and that's only going to increase. So the impact that we have on our planet is just getting greater and greater, and you guys play a real important part. Thanks for joining us today. If you have any questions or want to reach Martin, feel free to reach out to me, and I'll connect you guys. And thank you for being an ASI member, and thank you for kind of really caring about what happens to our planet. We do appreciate it.
Thank you too. Thank you.
Have a good day,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye.
Thanks all.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Good job, Martin. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.